Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to start off by saying I'm sorry that I have been missing for 49 days. But 49 days ago, my dad gave me this wonderful throne and a sculpture of King Arthur that he sculpted himself many years ago, but left in like a cabinet, and it's been collecting dust ever since. And he asked me to finish it. And me got extraordinarily excited and was like, yes, definitely. And then I invested a ton of time into making this because, you know, he's done such an amazing job on that throne and King Arthur. I can't sculpt at that sort of standard. So when he asked me to finish it, I got a bit panicky, I think, and I took a very long time to make stuff that would normally take me not so long. So yeah, I do apologise that I've been gone so long, but I wanted this piece to be a really, really good piece. So I'm going to start with making like the base and the back wall of my diorama. I'm using just cardboard and bits of wood that I have found around my home. I seem to hoard this stuff. And then I'm just going to make like your basic castle looking floor and wall. To make my rug look more ruggy, I'm just using the grips of my tools to give it a more fabric-y looking feel, if that makes sense. And then I'm using a pin tool just to put tassels all around the edges. And I'm actually quite proud of this rug. It's probably the best rug I ever did. Not that I've ever sculpted any other rugs, so I have nothing to compare it to. But for my standards, it's a very good rug. To make the pretty bit around the window, also known as the hood mould, the only reason I know that is because I googled it so that I could tell you and sound intelligent, but then I thought that my regular viewers are going to know that I googled it, so I googled it. But to make it, I used my clay squishy thing, which I also don't know the name of, and I haven't googled that one, so I'm just going to put that out there that I call it the clay squishy thing. And it comes with all these different little plates that you can change the shape of the clay as you squish it out of the hole. It's really useful for making the pretty bits around windows. To make the walls look a little bit more rocky, I would normally use a rock. I have a very particular rock that I like to use, and I couldn't find that particular rock. So I ended up using tin foil. I know another rock probably would have done the job, but I liked my rock. So yeah, I used a bit of tin foil. Then I went on to sculpt loads of like pretty stuff at the bottom of the window that I didn't record because I'm an idiot. And I wanted to also make some banners to go behind King Arthur because I imagine his court had lots of banners and shields and all that sort of stuff. And then I baked the wall and the floor together so that I could then start on the back side of the wall. I just want to take a minute to thank Heather Chapman for sending me in this wonderful piece of work. I'm so pleased that I managed to inspire somebody else to recreate one of my own pieces. So thank you very much for sharing your work with me, and I just wanted to show everybody else your wonderful work. So thank you again, and please do share your work with me. If you would like me to put up on my channel, then just let me know, and obviously I'll always credit you for your work. Thank you again, Heather. It's absolutely stunning. After adding in what felt like 6 billion leaves, and I did put on some berries and stuff like that off camera. After adding all of those, I put it back in the oven so that I could cure the clay and save my progress again. After a little acrylic sheet peeling ASMR, it was time to attach it to my sculpture. I wanted to use some glass paints onto the acrylic sheet so that I could have like something that looked as close to a stained glass window without actually having to make a stained glass window. I also added all these fairy lights using this glue, which took flipping forever. It takes so long to dry. But it's the glue that I had chose, so it was what I was going to have to use. And obviously I can't put the fairy lights and the acrylic sheet into the oven anymore, so now I had to move over to my epoxy sculpt. I did my best to not sculpt over any of the fairy lights. They're kind of sticking out in between all of the little bricks. But yeah, then I just sculpted the window and hid the wire under another leafy viney thing, which also takes ages to sculpt all those leaves again. Now comes the really scary bit for me. I had to take what my dad had already made and try and make it not ruined. Literally, this is why this project has taken me so long, because I was absolutely petrified of ruining what my dad had made. So I hope I didn't. I hope I did it a little bit of justice. You know, his skills far outweigh mine. So I was very intimidated by this part. I thought I'd just give you guys a little view of what it actually looks like when I'm slow sculpting these tiny bits, and what it actually feels like. I honest to God, it feels like my hands are going everywhere when I'm trying to do these teeny tiny details. For people that do miniatures as like a living, Jesus, how do you stay so steady? I found out that I have a shake like no other at these sort of scales. It took me a long time to just keep myself steady. But I have to admit, I did really enjoy sculpting all these teeny tiny details, these tiny little dragons. It's right up my alley. So, you know, this kind of project, I love doing these type of things. So I noticed in the concept art that my dad had given me for this throne that there was like an extra bit on the handles of the chair. So I had to try and figure out how to make those as well. Dad, if you were going to make projects, at least make the hard stuff for me so that I don't have to. So yeah, I literally just got 2 kebab skewers, jammed it into a bit of clay and stuck it in the oven and kind of prayed that everything would be okay when it was finished curing, which it was. So then I could continue to sculpt. The concept art have these tiny, lovely little lions as feet. But I found that when I tried to sculpt said tiny little lions, King Arthur's cape kept getting in the way. And so yeah, I just redesigned it, made my own. So I hope it looks okay. Sorry, Dad, I know you wanted little lions, but no. The sides of the throne I wanted to look the same, and the only way that I could figure to make them look the same would to be sculpt them at the same time. So I cut out 2 patterns of the side of the chair and then sculpted onto my glass and then moved them over to the chair once I'd finished sculpting. That way I had at least something that looked equal. They're not exactly the same because I cannot sculpt the same thing twice, but they're at least matching. After attaching my dragons and making sure that everything still fit on the throne, I decided that King Arthur isn't really King Arthur if he doesn't have like his iconic sword and shield. I couldn't not make Excalibur, could I? I've done Excalibur in my style, not how you might see it in pictures and all that sort of stuff, because it's a legendary sword. Let's face it, nobody knows what it looks like. So it's done in my style. So at first I sculpted his shield. I kept it nice and basic, metal edge, wooden middle, and then I created like a foil ball in the shape of a shield and then baked it over the top of that. So when it came out and it was all cured, it was a nice shield shape. Once I finished sculpting Excalibur and his shield, I did add a couple of tiny little details to King Arthur. I didn't really have to add much. My dad had already done like an amazing job at sculpting King Arthur. There was not much that I needed to add in any way, shape or form. I then put everything into the oven for its final bake. I was finally finished the sculpting part of my sculpting. Then we moved on to the painting side, which I feel took me 50 million years longer than the actual sculpting side. I decided to start with the back wall. I just drew a general template. You might recognise this imagery. It's in one of my previous videos. I will leave a link in the top of the screen now. But yeah, I just used an acrylic paint pen to draw out my outlines, and then use some glass paints to colour it in. Nice and easy. Sorry, I don't normally break like my painting montage sections, but I just wanted to say that I didn't just epoxy, 5-minute epoxy glue the base to the back because it never would have stayed together. I did epoxy sculpt into there as well, just to bring the two pieces together. So it's not just the 5-minute epoxy. And I also made my own rocks because it's much cheaper than buying them, just using some plaster of Paris and some tin foil. It's really super easy, and I suggest everybody make rocks this way if you're doing dioramas. after I finished adding in all of the last little details on this painting, which honestly did take me a very long time, King Arthur was pretty much finished. I just had a couple of little bits to add in from my woodland scenic stuff, just to, you know, make the outside look a bit more outsidey. And then everything was done. Dad, I hope I did you proud. And guys, if you are still here and haven't subscribed, you clearly enjoyed the video. You've been here the whole time. So I do hope that you take a minute to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.